Cathay Gazette welcomes back to Britain its special correspondent, Mr. Quentin Reynolds.
A year and a half ago, I saw the Nazis concentrating their might on London. From the clouds, hell was let loose. I saw the magnificent work of your grand firemen and ARP people. All honor to them. As the flames roared, Londoners set their teeth and took it on the chin. But it wasn't a knockout. It gave birth to a grim determination that the Germans should pay dearly for such destruction. Then at last came that spring morning when the people of London and the other blitzed cities of Britain heard that the Royal Air Force had sent more than 1,000 planes over Cologne and the Ruhr, the crews having instructions to let 'em have it right on the chin. And so it was. RAF bombers dropped big, beautiful bombs bang in the center of the Nazi war effort. An uppercut right on the chin, creating havoc and fear in the hearts of the foolish people who put Hitler in power and keep him there. Almost on the heels of the Cologne raiders, another huge four-figure RAF force attacked the Essen region. A further blow on the chin for the enemy. More blasting of Hitler's hopes. Many Nazi dupes now know that Goering's promise that no British planes would ever be allowed to fly over Germany was just futile boasting. My country will help knock sense into these misguided people. The United States Air Force Chief has said, American airmen hope soon to fly and fight beside the RAF in these decisive blows against our common enemy. By way of reprisal for history's biggest air raid on Germany's war industry center at Cologne, the Nazis selected Canterbury. Imagine that. Look at these pre-war pictures of Canterbury, a quiet little English town of less than 25,000 inhabitants, bombed as reprisal for an attack on a mighty German city of first importance to the Nazi war machine. That's the Nazi mentality. Canterbury for Cologne. It's fantastic. As I walked through the streets of Canterbury, I realized that destruction such as this can have no part in furthering Germany's war effort. It can only further the British effort, for it emphasizes that only the complete destruction of Hitler and his gang will end the madness which they have brought upon the world. To that end, we, your country and mine, have adopted as our battle cry, let 'em have it, right on the chin.
Your regular Cathay Gazette commentator takes over now to introduce the man behind the 1,000 plane raids, Air Marshal Harris, C&C Bomber Commander.
The Nazis entered this war under the rather childish delusion that they were going to bomb everybody else and nobody was going to bomb them. At Rotterdam, London, Warsaw, and 100 other places, they put that rather naive theory into operation. They sowed the wind, and now they are going to reap the whirlwind. We cannot send 1,000 bombers a time over Germany every time as yet. But the time will come when we can do so. There are a lot of people who say that bombing can never win a war. Well, my answer to that is that it has never been tried yet, and we shall see. Germany, clinging more and more desperately to her widespread conquests and even seeking foolishly for more, will make a most interesting initial experiment. Japan will provide the confirmation.
And now the message, comparable to Nelson's famous signal, goes out to all concerned.
Press home your attack. If you individually succeed, you will have delivered the most devastating blow against the very vitals of the enemy. Let him have it right on the chin.
In briefing rooms all over the country, station commanders disclose the big secret.
Now the target is an old friend to many of you. It's the city of Cologne. The route is almost direct. I'll show it to you. It's almost direct. Base, Uchtdorf, direct to Cologne. Bomb your target there. Turn southwest, Euskirchen. And then direct to Nordland. And then direct to base. You understand? I'd like to read you the message which I've just received from the CNC. Let him have it, right on the chin.
The most gigantic air raid the world has ever known is about to be launched. At more than 60 airfields, the colossal air armada is assembled. Each plane has been fitted into a vast pattern of destruction, worked out to a split-second time schedule. For weeks ahead, an army of experts has been planning it, and now with a ground personnel of well over 100,000 men and women to back them up, 1,130 aircraft, including the biggest bombers in the world, set forth to blaze a fiery trail into the heart of the Rhineland and drop thousands of tons of high-explosive spanners into its works. In this gigantic follow-my-leader 90-minute raid, the planes bombed at the rate of 1 every 6 seconds, while between 7,000 and 8,000 Britishers in British-built planes sat on top of Germany and gave it hell. Other members of the RAF play their important part. Here's the scene at a radio control center.
Hello, Crocus, F. Freddy, Hector answering. Aerodrome 1000, QFE 1024. Over.
A smile of satisfaction as outside the giant 4-engine bombers cut their motors, and some of the men who have made history tell their stories of how industrial Cologne disappeared.
Hello, boy. Have a good trip?
Yes, fine. Bang on trip, yes, with it, absolutely.
Well, boys, certainly made a mess of the line. What did you think of it, Stan?
Yeah, we certainly hit them under the chin that time, Len.
Hit them under the chin, gave them a kick fair and squared in the seat of the pants. Well, boys, Jerry invented the word Coventry. Well, I don't suppose Odie Cologne smells so good now.
There's only one thing that I'm afraid we shan't be doing this trip again for a very long time. Nice so it was, because there doesn't seem to be very much left to pay attention there.
Did anybody see any Jerrys?
No, sir. There wasn't any room. There were too many of our own about.
Excellent. No fighters? Well, anyone got anything else of interest? What was the flak like?
Well, there's always a bit there, and of course we found it as usual.
Here's a piece of it anyway. Oh, where did you find this?
I've just taken it out of my sleeve.
You're very lucky. Thank you.
Never in the field of human conflict was so much done by so many in so short a time. The battle cry now is...
Let him have it, right on the chin.
And Air Marshal Arthur Harris will go on hitting them until the knockout.